Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking on a really fascinating journey into the ancient texts. Specifically, we're diving into the Kassapavagga.
Mm-hmm. That's a collection of ancient Buddhist discourses or suttas.
Right, and they all revolve around this figure, Mahākassapa.
Exactly. And these aren't just, dry historical documents. They give us a really profound look into what makes an exemplary spiritual practitioner using Mahākassapa as, well, a kind of guide.
Okay.
And they also lay out fundamental principles for how to live well. Things like navigating daily interactions, cultivating inner states, even reaching these extraordinary depths of meditation.
So our mission for this deep dive, then, is to kind of extract the wisdom from these teachings, get a handle on what a really dedicated life looks like.
Yeah, and hopefully unearth some practical insights that, resonate with us today, whatever our path might be.
Okay, sounds good. You're going to hear about everything from finding contentment in really simple things to, well, astonishing mental feats and even some surprising community dynamics from way back then. So let's start by unpacking some of the core virtues Mahākassapa embodied. A really powerful one right at the start seems to be contentment.
Mm-hmm.
Our first source, the Santuha Sutta, kind of sets the stage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What does it tell us about how he approached daily life?
It's actually quite striking. This text describes Kassapa as being content with literally whatever he received.
Whatever, like robes, food.
Yeah, robes, food, lodging, medicine. The point is, he wasn't driven by craving. He didn't fret if he didn't get what he maybe wanted.
Okay.
And importantly, when he did receive something, he used it mindfully, with awareness of its drawbacks or impermanence, always aiming for liberation, totally free from attachment.
Wow, that's a remarkable level of detachment. But what does that mean for someone listening today? Is it about, like, giving everything up, or is it more a mindset?
It's absolutely about the mindset, yeah. It's this inner freedom where your well-being isn't constantly tied to external conditions.
Right.
You find peace regardless of what comes your way. But this isn't just passivity,
Okay, yeah, that's important.
Which leads us nicely to another key quality mentioned. Diligence.
Ah, diligence. So it's not just about letting go, it's also about active engagement. How does that fit?
Precisely. And that brings us to the Anattapa Sutta. This text explains the importance of two specific qualities. There's atapi.
Atapi?
Yeah, often translated as heat or ardor, effort. And then atapi,
Or tapi.
which is conscientiousness, sometimes called fear of blame, but crucially, not fear of blame from others.
Ah, okay, so like internal blame.
Exactly. It's a deep self-respect, an aversion to blame from your own conscience for doing something unwholesome.
So it's about being proactive then, preventing negative habits, getting rid of ones that have cropped up, and really cultivating and maintaining the positive ones.
That's it.
The source even explicitly that without this ardor and conscientiousness, one is unfit for awakening, unfit for nirvana. But with it, one is fit. That's a powerful statement. Unfit for awakening.
It is.
What are some practical ways these texts suggest someone might cultivate this kind of inner work beyond just knowing they should?
Well, it implies a continuous process, doesn't it? Rigorous self-assessment and consistent effort. It's about really recognizing what serves your long-term well-being and dedicating yourself to that with unwavering focus. It's not passive hope. It's an active moment-to-moment commitment.
This deep dive really shows how these internal states, these virtues, aren't just isolated things. They really influence how Mahākassapa interacted with the world.
Absolutely.
The Kedupama and Kulupaka Sutta have some, well, intriguing guidance on how monks should approach lay families, particularly when seeking alms.
Yeah, the Kendupama Sutta is quite beautiful, actually. It advises approaching families like the moon.
Like the moon. What does that mean?
It means with body and mind sort of withdrawn, always appearing fresh, never presumptuous or overbearing.
Okay.
It uses this analogy of looking down a well or a treacherous river. You step back, you're careful, you're detached from the outcome.
I see.
Yeah.
So the key takeaway about Mahākassapa here is that his mind just did not cling, was not grasped, was not bound when he visited families.
Exactly.
He even rejoiced if others got good things, just as he would if he did. That's a powerful lesson in non-attachment to outcomes for us too, isn't it?
It really is.
Approaching any interaction, maybe a request at work or a project without being totally consumed by whether it goes our way.
Precisely. And the Kassapa Sutta reinforces this. It contrasts two very different attitudes when visiting families for offerings.
Okay, what are they?
Well, the undesirable attitude is going in expecting a lot, expecting fine food, served quickly, respectfully.
Right, high expectations.
And if those aren't met, it leads to distress, disappointment.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the ideal practitioner, like Kassapa, holds no such expectations. He understands, as the text says, where indeed can one get this from other families. So if the offerings are sparse or coarse or slow or even disrespectful, he remains undisturbed, free from suffering and dejection.
It's really about letting go of that need for control and managing expectations.
Which, frankly, is a skill we could all use a bit more of in our daily lives.
Definitely.
Now, Mahākassapa was also known for his rigorous ascetic practices, very austere.
Yes, very much so.
And in the Jian Sute, we get this rare glimpse of a direct conversation between him and the Buddha about this very thing. The Buddha, seeing Kassapa was getting older, actually suggested he lighten up a bit.
Yeah, essentially. He suggested Kassapa wear simpler householder-style robes, accept invitations for meals, live closer to the Buddha, implying a less strenuous life.
So how did Kassapa respond to that? Did he jump at the chance?
Not at all. Despite his age, Kassapa steadfastly affirmed his commitment to his demanding ascetic practices. Being a forest dweller, an alms-gatherer, wearing robes made from discarded rags.
Wow.
Being content with few possessions, detached, secluded, and energetic. He was really dedicated to these, despite the physical toll.
And the Buddha then asks him, okay, but why? For what purpose do you see yourself upholding these? And Kassapa's answer gives two key reasons, right?
Yes, and they're incredibly insightful. First, he says, for his own comfortable abiding in this very life.
So they genuinely brought him inner peace and well-being. It wasn't just self-punishment.
Exactly, that's what he felt. And second, he said, out of compassion for future generations.
Compassion for the future. How so?
He wished that future people, future practitioners, might see the example set by great disciples like him who embrace these tough practices.
Oh, I see.
And be inspired to follow suit, which would lead to their own long-term well-being and happiness.
That's striking, isn't it? How his personal happiness and his compassion for others were so deeply intertwined.
It really is.
And the Buddha's response is basically a strong endorsement. He urges Kassapa to continue for the benefit of many. It really highlights the power of setting an example.
Absolutely. It's not just about what you achieve for yourself, but how your life, your choices, can inspire countless others down the line.
Even in these ancient monastic communities, though, things weren't always perfect. There were challenges, much like any community today, I suppose.
Oh, for sure.
The Ovada Sutta and Dutiyavada Sutta paint a picture of some monks who were difficult to admonish. What was happening there?
Well, in the Ovada Sutta, Kassapa observes some monks actually arguing about who could speak more or speak better or speak longer during discussions.
Seriously, like a competition.
Yeah. And the Buddha has to correct them, basically asking, is this what I taught? It shows that even on a spiritual path, ego can creep in, right?
That's such a human tendency, isn't it? To make anything a contest, even spiritual growth.
It seems so. And the Dutiyavada Sutta then delves a bit deeper into the qualities that lead either to decline or growth in these wholesome states.
How does it explain that?
It uses a very clear analogy. The moon waxing and waning.
Okay.
So lacking faith, lacking conscientiousness, diligence, wisdom, or being angry and resentful. That's like the waning moon. It leads to spiritual decline.
Makes sense.
Conversely, possessing these positive qualities is like the waxing moon. It leads to growth. It clearly links these individual virtues, or lack thereof, to your overall spiritual development. Your inner state directly impacts your progress.
And the Titiya-Ovada Sutta then shows how this kind of decline can impact the whole community, not just the individual.
Right. It contrasts past elders, who apparently valued these austere practices and inspired the newer monks, with the current elders of that time, who seemed more focused on fame and material gain. And this, the text says, led to the same negative outcomes for the new practitioners they were supposed to guide.
Oof. That's a clear warning about leadership, isn't it? And the ripple effect of conduct.
Definitely. Integrity, or the lack of it, starts at the top and trickles down, for better or worse.
So we've explored Mahākassapa's very grounded virtues in daily life, his contentment, his diligence. But now let's maybe dive into the more extraordinary side of his spiritual development.
Okay.
The Hanabinya Sutta reveals some truly incredible spiritual abilities.
Yes, this text states that Kassapa could attain all the same deep meditative states called jhanas as the Buddha himself.
Jhanas. For those maybe less familiar, what are those exactly?
They represent these profound stages of mental absorption. The mind becomes incredibly focused, incredibly tranquil, moving beyond ordinary sensory experience into states of deep peace, clarity, all the way to the cessation of perception and feeling. Very deep states.
Okay. And not only that, the text says he could manifest extraordinary psychic powers.
That's right. Things like multiplying himself, appearing and disappearing, passing through walls, diving into the earth as if it were water, walking on water as if land, flying through the air, touching the sun and moon, even reaching the Brahma world.
That's quite a list.
Yeah.
He also had the divine ear, could read minds, recall past lives, see beings reincarnate based on their karma.
All listed there. And these feats, they aren't just about magic tricks. They really highlight the profound mastery Mahākassapa achieved over his own mind, and maybe even the material world.
Right. It demonstrates the ultimate potential of these practices, not as like a party trick, but as a byproduct of complete liberation and inner freedom.
Exactly. And critically, like the Buddha, Kassapa had achieved the destruction of the defilements, or esavas, meaning he was completely liberated, an arahant.
Fully awakened.
Yes. And this is a crucial point. It gets emphasized in a couple of other suttas, the Bhikkhunupasaya Stud and Kuverta Sutta.
What happens there?
Well, Kassapa basically has to assert his spiritual standing to Ananda, another chief disciple, in response to some criticism from a nun. He reminds Ananda that it was he, Kassapa, who was recognized by the Buddha as having attained these highest levels of insight and power.
That's a powerful assertion of his spiritual authority. But in a community that's focused on non-attachment, how might something like that be perceived?
That's a fascinating question.
It gives us a glimpse into the human side, the dynamics, even among highly realized practitioners, doesn't it?
It does. Even at the highest levels, there are interactions to navigate.
Okay, shifting gears just slightly. The Tathagata Paramaran Sutta addresses a different kind of deep insight. Basically what the Buddha doesn't teach.
Ah, yes. The undeclared points.
Right. Kassapa and Sariputta discuss the Buddha's silence on questions like, does a Tathagata, a perfected one, exist after death? Or not? Or both? Or neither?
This is a core Buddhist teaching. The Buddha declared these specific questions undeclared or unanswered.
Why?
Because, as the text says, they are not conducive to the goal, not conducive to the holy life. They don't lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, calm, direct knowledge, awakening, or nirvana.
So, essentially speculating on these ultimate metaphysical questions doesn't actually help you achieve liberation. It's a distraction.
That's the idea. It doesn't help you get free from suffering.
So, focusing on those abstract, speculative things just doesn't lead anywhere practical on the path. But what does he declare? What knowledge is considered valuable for spiritual progress?
He declares suffering dukkha, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering.
The Four Noble Truths.
Exactly. These are declared because they are conducive to the goal, to the holy life, to disenchantment, and ultimately to nirvana. It's a very pragmatic approach to wisdom, you could say.
Focus on what genuinely helps you alleviate suffering and achieve freedom right here and now.
Precisely.
Okay, finally, let's look at what sustains or erodes the true teaching itself. This is based on the Saddhamapatira Sutta. Mahākassapa asks a question that feels very relevant, even today. Why, over time, does the number of rules sometimes increase while the number of truly realized practitioners seems to decrease?
It's a poignant question, isn't it? And the Buddha explains that this tends to happen when beings generally decline and the true teaching, the true Dhamma, begins to disappear. Okay.
But crucially, he says the true teaching doesn't vanish until a counterfeit version of it arises in the world.
A counterfeit version, like fake teachings.
Yeah, just like true gold doesn't disappear until counterfeit gold emerges and muddies the water.
So it's not external forces the text mentions, earth, water, fire, air, that destroy the teaching.
No. The Buddha says it's foolish persons within the community, within the Sangha, who cause its confusion and disappearance.
Wow. That's very direct. It puts the responsibility squarely on the practitioners themselves.
It truly does. And the text lists 5 specific factors that lead to this confusion and disappearance.
What are they?
A lack of respect and deference towards 1. The teacher, the Buddha. 2. The Dhamma, the teachings themselves. 3. The Sangha, the community of practitioners. 4, the training, the practices, and 5, concentration or meditation.
So disrespect towards these 5 pillars erodes the foundation.
Yes. And conversely, respect and deference towards these same 5 pillars are what ensure the stability and non-confusion of the true teaching. It really shows that maintaining the integrity of these profound teachings isn't automatic. It's an active, ongoing effort, and it depends entirely on the respect and the conduct of the people practicing it.
A powerful lesson in collective responsibility, absolutely.
What an incredible deep dive into the Kassapavagga this has been. From Mahākassapa's profound contentment and detachment to the critical role of diligence, humility, and that often overlooked importance of really respecting the core spiritual principles. These ancient texts offer such a powerful blueprint for, well, personal and collective well-being.
Yeah, and hopefully you've gained some insights into how a truly dedicated life isn't just about cultivating internal states, important as they are.
Right.
It's also about skillful interaction with the world, understanding community dynamics, and clearly discerning what genuinely leads towards liberation versus what just, distracts us.
It's a really vivid reminder, I think, that the path to deeper wisdom requires constant self-reflection and a steadfast adherence to those core values, whether you're, navigating daily challenges or striving for profound inner peace.
And the message seems pretty clear. The preservation of profound wisdom isn't some abstract cosmic force operating on its own.
No.
It lies squarely in the hands of those who truly engage with and respect its essence, generation after generation.
Yeah. So as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this provocative thought. How do we, in our own lives, in our own communities, whatever they may be, ensure we aren't inadvertently creating counterfeit versions of what we truly value, but are instead upholding the genuine essence of what truly leads to growth and well-being for ourselves and perhaps for future generations too?